Well, as like so much in America, the reactions are split. Uh, those who support President Trump see him as standing up for American interests and dealing with an ally who they feel didn't show America enough respect. Well, it certainly puts Ukraine in a very difficult position. Uh, American assistance to Ukraine was already in question with the advent of the Trump administration, but now American support is more questionable than ever. So Ukraine is in a very, very difficult position. Well, I'm hoping that the Europeans will step up, that they'll realize that the lack of American support would put a major hole in Ukraine's ability to defend itself, and therefore the Europeans will have to do more. But there are certain weapons that only America could provide, certain assistance that only America could provide. So if this leads to a rupture or termination of American assistance to Ukraine, it spells a very bad future for Ukraine. Well, the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO was always very remote, especially in the near future. And it's become even more remote now. More broadly, I think countries throughout the world will question whether they can rely on the United States to be an ally that will be there for them if they're in trouble. And this will lead to countries perhaps turning to other protectors like China or seeking to protect themselves, most frighteningly with the development of nuclear weapons. So it's, in my view, not a good thing at all. Not a very good development at all. Well, I hope cooler heads will prevail. Maybe there will be a joint agreement between America and Ukraine to recognize they have differences, but not to allow those differences to fundamentally disrupt the relationship. But I'm concerned that personal animosities will become more important than national interests. I believe it's in America's national interest to help Ukraine defend itself. And of course, it's in Ukraine's national interest to secure American support. So I hope we can get over this horrible incident and work towards keeping the relationship strong. But I can't say I'm confident that will be the case. Well, the Ukrainians understandably want some kind of security guarantee, either from the United States or from Europe, because Zelensky doesn't trust Putin. And there are good reasons for him not to trust Putin. Putin has violated several ceasefires in the past. Putin, despite what Trump said, invaded Ukraine and started this war. And to simply sign an agreement with Putin that he may break the next day is not in Ukraine's interest. So there needs to be some kind of security assurances. And we should remember that security assurances were given to Ukraine in the Budapest Memorandum, which in part convinced Ukraine to give up its nuclear weapons. But the world turned its back on Ukraine then, and it may be doing it again today. I hope so. I hope the Europeans step up, whether it be the British or Macron in France, and try and mitigate this argument, this spat, and allow cooler heads to prevail. I mean, we want to see the Europeans serve as a kind of intermediary between this fight, to see if we can cool things down and put the relationship back on track. But at this point, it's unclear whether that will be the case. Bear in mind that Trump and certainly Vance had reservations about supporting Ukraine from the beginning. And Trump has always had a soft spot for Putin. So whether this relationship can be healed remains to be seen. Well, the United Nations is not a major force in international politics. It perhaps can play some role in influencing world opinion, but the United Nations does not have an army, does not have the ability to impose peace. So I don't really see it playing a central role in this conflict. Well, as like so much in America, the reactions are split. Uh, those who support President Trump see him as standing up for American interests and dealing with an ally who they feel didn't show America enough respect. Other Americans see this as a shameful spectacle of bullying a friend in order to get its economic resources and not standing by a country whose very existence is at stake. So again, people see this in very different lights, the way virtually everything is seen differently in the United States, a country that is split down the middle.